Bhavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaduryam Haravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We started the chapter on self-realization and started about the self-realized person. Who is a self-realized person? He has shed his vasanas. He no longer identifies with his body, mind, intellect, and has crossed the three states of consciousness to merge with the fourth state of consciousness. Now he is the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. That means he knows all, he is everywhere, and he's all powerful. Now, these words have to be understood carefully. We will, of course, be doing them in the course of the chapter, but they have to have a more careful understanding. Our understanding of these words is always circumspect, let's say. Then, okay, so none of this was understood. So let's go to the second paragraph. The second paragraph told us about the three states of consciousness. We are aware that there are three states of consciousness. We know that we are in the waking state, as we are now, in the dream state, and we have the deep sleep state of consciousness. What is the difference between deep sleep, between sleep and dream?
Between deep sleep and dream?
Mm-hmm.
When the consciousness functions through vasanas, is deep sleep. And when it functions through the subtle body, it's dream.
Good. But in our own experience, I mean, this is the definition, that's correct. But in our own experience, suppose somebody says, what do you mean deep sleep and dream? What's the difference? What will you say?
Deep sleep means no dream. Dreamless sleep is deep sleep.
Okay. Yes. So, what is the difference? In dreams, you are actually experiencing something. You're experiencing some world going on over there. There's some dream going on. And in deep sleep, you experience nothing. What people call sound sleep. That you didn't experience anything. No thoughts were manifesting at all. You're not experiencing anything of any nature other than nothingness. You're only experiencing nothingness. When you, all three bodies, gross bodies. Oh, sorry, Deepraj, you have a question?
Yeah, about the deep sleep. I mean, there's a difference between not experiencing anything and experiencing nothing. In the deep sleep, we experience nothingness. It is not like we are not we're not going through an experience. We are going through an experience. It is that we are experiencing nothingness.
Correct.
Thank you.
What does that mean, Janki-ji? How can we experience nothing?
We are experiencing nothing in the sense that, okay, so suppose you enter a room in which there is nothing, then you are experiencing that there is nothing in the room. Right? This is different from not entering that room at all.
But in this case,
I haven't experienced the room versus I experienced nothing in the room.
okay, it's just that the only connection I have is that I went to sleep and I woke up. So I know. So I'm assuming, but that's still an inference.
Yes and no. So if somebody asked you, did you dream? You can say, I didn't, right?
Okay.
You're making a claim about it.
But
Yeah.
Janki, sorry.
One second, we'll finish.
Yeah.
So the reason why, I mean, it just sounds like unnecessary mental gymnastics at the moment because it's not relevant in the conversation. This particular thing will become relevant later on when we are discussing self-realization. Because there is a difference between self-realization, which is the state of no experience, and deep sleep, which is the experience of nothingness. So only there we need to make this differentiation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Elsie.
Janki, now it's okay for me because it will be a unnecessary discussion.
At this stage, making that difference is not relevant because you see, whenever you make a philosophical statement, you are always thinking 15 steps ahead. So somebody is going to say this then. So you are always taking all those precautions. Because later on you cannot say no, but that was then and this is now. You can't do all this in philosophy. So you always do this very carefully. And in fact, that doing it very carefully is what gives us the clarity of thought because you've thought this thing through. Thinking things through in life is one of the most amazing, what should I say, time savers. Because most people don't think it through, so then they have to retrace their steps, then they have to start again. And you're just wasting time, right? So the simplest thing is think it through as far as you can. I do X, then what do I anticipate will happen? Then there's a possibility of A, B, C happening. Okay, then what will I do? That is why chess is supposed to be a game where, it trains you to think in the sense that, and the reason why we don't play chess is because you've already done your morning study, you're too exhausted to play chess after that. So mentally exhausted. But what happens is you're always 3 steps ahead of the game. If I do X, then Y will happen. When Y happens, I have the potential of doing whatever, A, B, C. If I do any of these, like, let's say, somebody bangs into your car at the traffic light. So you get very angry and you come out of your car. Now, what do you say? You start abusing that fellow, which is fine, no problem. But what you have forgotten is that when you start abusing the fellow, he has 2 options: to take your abuse and say, I'm so sorry, I was very wrong, or to tell you, aap kitne gadhe ho? You were parked in the wrong place. I didn't do anything wrong. If you know human nature, the higher probability is
The latter.
He'll abuse you.
they'll abuse you right back. Now, if he's a particularly violent and aggressive guy, he'll punch you. Have you thought this thing through? Okay, when he does any of these things, what am I going to do next? No, I've only seen that he banged my car and now I've set off in Bhagavat against this thing. So before you know it, you both are in the police station, you are filing complaints, you have started a case. This was going to go on for 10 years. All because you did not ask yourself this question: I'm getting out and abusing him. What do I think he will do? He's not an inanimate object, right? He will also take action. So even inanimate objects take action because if you don't do things properly, you find the consequences. So thinking things through before you start an action This is just like a momentary thing. For choosing life choices, you have to think 5 steps ahead. What will I do then? What will I do then? Now everybody will say, I don't know what will happen. Nobody knows what will happen. You have to know that you also don't know what will happen. That is also one of the things. But you do also know the possibility of some things happening, right? Everything is not unknown. No, I cannot know everything. Of course, you cannot know everything, and that's part of your data. And you work with it. You don't behave like, okay, I will take an action, then kal dekha jayega. Why don't you do that? I mean, you can do that, but if you do that, what will happen is, what happened? Nobody was listening.
A reaction.
Okay.
Miseries will be less. Miseries will be less.
What will, if you do not think 2 steps ahead, what you're basically doing is wasting time. Because you're going to come back and retrace all of that. And God alone knows what else branches will have been created. You have to think 2 steps ahead. And if you say, no, I can't think ahead, okay. If you want to live life like that, then go forward, go back, go forward, go back, spend your life like that. One day you'll be 80 years old and you'll ask yourself this question, मैंने क्या किया? See the difference between being clear about what is it I want to do? What is it that is going to get me there? What are my possibilities? What are the unknown things that I'm dealing with? I have to think this thing through. That is why dealing with these corporate executives in that sense is much easier, because they do this. They may hate their boss, they may hate their colleagues, but they will work with them because they know their promotion is based on this. So, that's what the Gita says. Work like the selfish people do, but unselfishly, detachedly. Because the selfish guys are actually way more disciplined because they know what they want. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get there. We are all चलती का नाम गाड़ी, ये भी चलेगा, वो भी चलेगा, ऐसे भी ठीक है, वैसे मैं उसके लिए ये कर रहा हूँ, मैं उसके लिए वो करना हूँ. क्या चल क्या रहा? It's all disorganized and doesn't take us anywhere. You start helping some person, then he develops 25 more problems, then you got involved in his samsar, then somebody else something, and somebody else something. Chaos. Right? So if you want to be an achiever, you have to first and foremost know
What not to do.
Consequence.
have to know.
The next few steps.
First and foremost, you have to know
What
The
not to do.
first and foremost. You want to be an achiever, the first and foremost thing you need to do is
goal.
Goal. You should goal.
know what
You
you
know
want
your
to
goal.
What you
achieve.
want, know what you want.
What do you want to achieve?
But in that case, Janki, the corporate executive and the seeker have completely different goals. For us, the means is important. For them, only the goal is important. But if I am vying for them, if I'm vying for a promotion and I hate somebody, I can spread gossip about that person and so get my promotion, because my promotion is what matters. But for me, I cannot do that. Because for me, my goal is different. So even if I know what my goal is, the means also matter to me.
How you are making that statement, if your goal is self-development, okay, you cannot do negative things because that's in opposition to your goal.
Right.
So it's not that the means matter, it's that these means will not take you to your goal.
Yeah, but so that is what it's not like if I am behaving in a particular way that seems confused, maybe I'm changing track because it's aligned, that change of track is aligned with my goal.
Well, I mean, you're not justifying your actions to anyone else. You know what you're doing it. That's good enough. But you are not, it's not that our means are different. When the goal is different, the means are different because those means take you to the goal. It's not like, oh, I can't do this. In self-development, there's no such thing. Krishna propagated a war. Shilpa, you're saying no argument for what?
No, for that, you were asking the question, what should you do? Then,
Acha, not like that. I was saying that if you want to achieve something, then what is the first thing? No, it's not. Even if you're meaning in the traffic example, it's not that you no argument. It is Vedanta is never prescribing anything. Please remember that. All it is saying is you must know what you're doing and what you're going to get out. You want to argue, go right ahead. Who's stopping you? You want to fight, you want to punch, you want to punch the guy, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. But if you're meeting Muhammad Ali and you are LC Matthew, then this may not be a wise idea. Just think this thing through. Suppose LC gets very angry with somebody on the road and says, I'm going to punch you. I will tell LC, please watch it. If Bharat wants to punch somebody, then he may have to consider other things like what is the size of the guy opposite him. But it's not like we're saying don't do X or don't do Y. We're just saying think forward. What happens? Okay, you will do X or Y, then what will happen? If you argue, then what will happen? So even when you're, suppose there's a vendor who is not serving you properly, right? Your bhajiwala is not giving you the tomato you wanted, whatever. Your carpenter is not giving you the sofa you wanted, whoever, any vendor not giving you anything. And you're very angry and you're shouting at him. What is the one question you must know the answer to?
then to stop.
What am I trying to achieve here? Am I trying to get rid of the vendor? I'm trying to get the vendor to give me the right thing. What am I trying to achieve? And based on that, you take the action. Nobody is saying don't shout, don't scream, don't fight. Nobody is saying anything. Do it. There's no rule here. Except that is your action taking you to your goal? Which means, do you at least know what you're trying to achieve? Do you understand the possibilities? Because mostly people talk like this. I don't do this. I don't do that. What do you mean I don't do this and I don't do that? I don't like this. I don't like that. What is that supposed to mean? Is that like more important or is your goal more important? It's for you to decide. No, but somehow or the other, I can't keep accounts. If you can't keep accounts, good for you. One day don't come back to us and say, I want a loan. Because you couldn't keep accounts, one day you will require a loan. Simple. Is that clear? I mean, this whole concept of likes and dislikes also has become almost like, because the example is given like, I feel like eating ice cream and then I want to lose weight. And so it's almost like likes and dislikes have become some list of activities we don't do. We don't eat ice cream. We don't eat fried food. We don't do this. We don't do that. Why will we not eat ice cream? Why will we not eat fried food? Please eat whatever you enjoy. You say this, then everybody, oh wow, we can have ice cream and fried rice. It's not a suggestion to do or a suggestion not to do. It is think of your goal. And if you think of your goal, you cannot say, I cannot apologize. That's one thing I cannot do. Okay, bhugto fir main kya karu? But I cannot control my temper. Bhugto fir main kya karu? Kar lo jo karna hai. But if you want to know what is going to take you to your goal, then Vedanta has an answer. That if you do these particular type of actions, it is unlikely that you will achieve anything of significance.
Thank you, Jankiti.
I hope that's all clear, right?
Yes, Jankiti.
So coming back, the three states of consciousness are nothing but an expression of the three bodies. When the gross body functions, it is the waking state. When the subtle body functions, it is the dream state. And when only the causal body functions, it is the deep sleep state. Right. This is all a matter of which body in us is functioning. However, in our experience of it, we find a rather strange phenomenon that whichever state we are in, we believe that to be all important and real. And the weird thing is, 3 times a day, every day, in your own life, you have considered 3 separate things as real. And when you have considered them as real, you have, it's not just I think it's real, it's the whole thing, the whole samsara of it. You have wept and rejoiced. You have been hurt. You have been happy. You have taken action. You have faced consequence. The whole thing, every day, 3 different ones. And you have cared about each state equally. Isn't that something amazing? When you are in your waking state, you will reject everything that the dream was. But when you're in your dream state, you will reject everything that the waking world was. If you won a Nobel Prize here, what are all your emotions and feelings and actions? And if you win a Nobel Prize in the dream, what are all your feelings and actions? Same, no? You are also rejoiced, they are also rejoiced, there also you, whatever you are, you will be. It's the most incredible thing. Vedanta is drawing your attention to this and asking the question, when every time you have been so convinced of the reality of it, which then is the real one? He's asking a question. Since we do not know the answer to this question, we say that every state has its relative reality. What does it mean by the term relative reality? It means that while you are in it, you will experience its reality. But when you're no longer in it, that reality will seem nothing. When you were a child and you loved those dolls of yours, you experienced that reality fully. Having grown up, that is no longer real for you. This is known as relative reality. At one time, you hated somebody, you said, such a stupid person. I don't want to be with this person. Horrible, horrible person. 20 years later, you say, oh, that was a very good person. Each state has its relative reality. And when we are in that state, it seems like unquestioned. Absolutely unquestioned. So we must take pause and say, what is really real? In bad language, but whatever, really real. What is real? So Vedanta says all of these are relative reality because they seem so real to you. But you don't know which of them is real. So then what is the reality? There is another state called Turiya, which is beyond all this. The word Turiya means fourth. So there is a fourth. There is something else, which is the reality. That reality is the substratum of you in your waking, dream, and deep sleep states, and everybody else in their waking, dream, and deep sleep states. So it's considered to be the substratum of it all. Some reality. We don't know what that reality is. Call it X, call it Brahman, call it Vishnu, call it Shiva, call it Allah, call it Father in Heaven, call it Ahura Mazda, call it Buddha, call it whatever on earth you want. It doesn't matter. Because whatever you call it, the fact remains that
It's an unknown.
it's an unknown. Very good. You don't know it, you call it anything. Whatever word works for you is good. You say, I call my God Shiva. Wonderful. I call my God Vishnu. Fantastic. I call my God Christ. Very good. I call my God Allah. Very good. What is the problem? No, you are not allowed to call my God Vishnu. Why not? I can call whatever I want. Every single bit of it is as unknown because all human beings go through only 3 states of consciousness, and none of us know what the 4th one is. We are all equally ignorant. Some people say, I will not call my God a name. Very good. You know that, right? In the Jewish tradition, they do not take the name of the Lord. It's one of the laws, right? Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. It's there in the Bible. In the Jewish tradition, they don't want to call him a name. If you understand why is it that they don't want to call him by a name, the Hindus say, oh, you must take the name of the Lord all the time. The Jews say, you must not take the name of the Lord. Now these two are going to keep fighting. Should you take the name of the Lord? Should you not take the name of the Lord? But please understand the principle involved. You don't take the name of the Lord because what is the person trying to tell you? Very often in life, when you name something, you feel you understand it. But the Lord cannot be understood. So in that sense, don't take a name and believe that you know the Lord because you called him a name. You gave him some name, any name. Then why did the other side say, take the name of the Lord? The other side says, take the name of the Lord in the sense, remember the Lord all the time because that is your goal. So you'd remember it. Now, if you understand where everybody is coming from, you find every piece fitting in beautifully. There's no argument on any bit of it. So, bottom line is, we don't know the reality. It is unknown. What we do know is relative reality. This reality is referred to as transcendental. It is referred to as transcendental because we don't know it, not because it's not here. So this transcendental reality, whatever the truth is there at all times in all the 3 states of consciousness and also exists by itself. Just as if you see a rope as a snake, somebody else sees it as a twig, somebody else sees it as a crack in the ground. The twig, the snake, the crack in the ground are all relative reality. The rope is the reality. The rope is there in all 3. The rope has not left because that's the real thing. So it is the substratum of everything that you claim your reality is. Okay, shall we continue? We'll read the next paragraph.
I can read.
Right.
The consciousness runs through all the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. Furthermore, the consciousness exists beyond the three states in its original purity, free from conditioning. That supreme consciousness is eternal, all-pervading, infinite. The self-realized merges with the consciousness, becomes one with the absolute reality. So this says that the consciousness, the reality is in the three states of consciousness and also exists beyond it. And the self-realized merges with this one consciousness that runs through all the three states and becomes one with the absolute reality. You muted, Janison.
So what is it saying? The rope exists in the twig, in the crack in the ground, in the snake, and also exists by itself. Right? Clear, right? And what is the next? Who will read the next paragraph?
The consciousness is the substratum of the microcosm as well as the macrocosm, the center around which both of them revolve. The microcosm and macrocosm merge with the eternal consciousness. The substratum of individual, waker, dreamer, and the deep sleeper is the consciousness as well as of microcosm, that is the cosmic dreamer, waker, and deep sleeper.
Oh, not microcosm, macrocosm. Microcosm is small, right?
Yes.
Micro is big.
Microcosm, individual, dreamer, sleeper, and waker. Microcosm is cosmic dreamer. and
Macrocosm.
Microcosm.
Macrocosm.
Yes. Macrocosm is
Yes.
cosmic.
Very good. Means all of us together, all put together. Very good. So, because why do you think? Why does, okay, for the whole class, why do you think that they've got two separate paragraphs on this? Why is it not one paragraph? Because he is talking firstly of how your deep sleep, dream, waking state of all got the base in the reality. That was what he's been speaking about all. So what happens is you may think, anybody reading it may think that, oh, my base is reality. We're just drawing your attention to the fact that everybody is the same thing. No difference. Every one of us are going through three states of consciousness individually and in totality. Yes, Deepraj?
I can only attest the self in myself. I cannot attest the self in others.
You cannot attest in yourself also. How can you say that?
I
Now you're Deepraj, right?
yes, but I know that I experience, and I experience all the three states. So there is that I. So I know that there is that I in me, but I have no idea if there's an I in anyone else.
But we are all claiming it, no? I'm also saying.
Yeah, but I cannot.
No, but I am saying it. Everyone is saying it. So little trust you can have that if they're saying I, there must be an I for the others as well. Everybody has used the I so much. How can we miss it in them? We can sometimes miss it in ourselves. So you have to take their word for it that they also experience the I.
I mean, it becomes even more pernicious when you get out of the dream state and you kind of understand that all the person using I there was just in your head. So how is all the people using the I now, not just in your head?
That you cannot know. But as of now, you can know that whatever that reality is will have to be everywhere, right? Just like in the dream, when you wake up from the dream, the waker's mind projected the dream. So that projector, I mean, whoever has done that, the waker's mind, has to be everything in the dream, cannot be just the dreamer. So similarly, whatever is same thing should be applicable here also. Whatever
Yeah,
is
so taking the dream analogy, the only person who was experiencing it was the dreamer. The only person experiencing the dream was the dreamer.
okay.
Similarly, the only person experiencing the waking world is the wake. I mean,
Yes,
we
correct.
might come to the
Correct. That part is correct. But what you're missing is just as the dreamer is the waker's mind, so is everything else. Everything in the dream is the mind, right? It's fibers and fibers of the mind. Has to be. There cannot be any greater, what should I say, any greater reality to the dreamer than to the dream objects. Because both appear and disappear together. It's not like the dreamer is projecting the dream. Something else is projecting the dreamer and the dream object.
no, that I can understand, but I'm talking about the self in others. Just like how in the now I know in the dream I might have thought that the self that exists in others, like the experience of the dream, the other people are also experiencing it, but now as a waker I know it was just me who was experiencing the dream. Similarly here, when others say that they are going to the three states of consciousness, I cannot take their word for it that they are actually going to the three states of consciousness,
Why not?
because I don't know if they are.
If you take a stance like that, then you don't know anything. You don't know whether somebody just gave you a piece of cake or not.
No, that I can tell from perception, but their experience of the world I cannot say, I cannot attest other than taking their word for it.
That yes, you cannot yes, it is correct that just like the entire dream world folded and you understood it was only my mind, when this world folds and you may understand, may or may not, please do not make these as dramatic statements, you may or may not understand one day that this whole thing was only a figment of my imagination. However, when you say my in both these contexts, they're referring to two different things. Remember that. So this world and you have got equal stature, just as the dreamer and his dream world have got equal stature. So you cannot attest for anybody only on the grounds that they're equal stature. If they were lower, then you could attest for it. But they're equal stature. That's the only point I'm trying to make. The dreamer and the dream world will appear and disappear simultaneously. Neither have any more reality than the other. Okay, so it's almost like you're talking from two different places when you make those statements. Like you can't put your one leg in waking state and one leg in Turiya and say, I am the self and none of you guys are. No, you can't do that. I am the self means this body, mind, intellect, and every other body, mind, intellect have the same stage.
Now understood. Yes, thank you.
Momita, but the dream contents are only me. Can you tell me what you mean?
I got it, Janaji. Thank you.
So this, yes, Mahesh?
But we do say that when the dreamer wakes up, the world disappears, right?
The dream world, yes.
Yeah. So then it is the waking of the dreamer that causes the dream world to disappear. So there must be some added sort of reality to the dreamer.
No, the dreamer and the dream world comes exactly the same. It is never the dreamer that wakes up. If you're technically correct, the dreamer goes and the waker wakes up. And the waker is there. The dreamer is not waking. You wake up from a dream. Who's that you? You're the waker.
But the example of that, the tiger in the dream waking you up, who does it wake up in the dream?
These
Just
kinds
like
of
a
questions cannot
imaginary.
be answered, right? So who does it wake up? You can't say. The tiger in the dream makes the dream disappear. When the dream disappears, the waker, the tiger, the dreamer, the tiger, everybody disappears simultaneously. And you recognize that you are the waker.
So why should there be a dreamer? It should have just been a dream, right? Why should they give any importance to something called the dreamer? Because then
You are giving. In the dream, that dreamer is giving himself all the importance of the world. As if he is somehow more important than the dream world. Just as right now in your life, you give yourself all the importance. That this happened to me, that happened to me. All this you say no, because you're giving yourself importance. The whole point is to say it's not important.
yeah, I mean, just seems redundant to say that there's a dreamer, because then it's just a dream which is happening and the tiger is there and the dream goes. So there's no real need for the dreamer to be mentioned at all. I mean, ideally.
It's not, there is no need for the dream to be mentioned. Because you think that you are very important in the dream and everything happening in the dream is of significance to you, we're just drawing everything to the person's attention.
Okay.
Who thought at that time it was so, right? The dreamer thought at that time it was so. You have a recollection of that, and that can help you understand, in be an illustration to understand what the realized masters are talking about. You can't prove anything, but you can at least understand what are they saying. Sometimes you don't know what is he saying. So he's only explaining to you what he is saying. Now, whether this is true or false, please go and find out for yourself. But
I see. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But this is just an illustration to show you how at one time you sincerely believed you were in the forest and that a tiger was chasing you and you were palpitating with all the reality of that. And when you get up, you say, oh, nothing happened. But nothing happened. That time you were on all palpitations. It's explaining the concept.
So if I see Deepraj in my dream, he is got nothing to do with the Deepraj who's in the waking state, but there is a Deepraj there, which I am project. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And it's not even time for us to talk of these things.
Janki, I don't know, I'm asking the same question. But what is the need for the other two states, like a dreamer and a deep sleep state?
What is the need? What is the need for the waking state?
No, waker, I'm not talking about the waker in the sense of self-realized person. The ordinary waker is only going to sleep and dreaming or in deep sleep, no? So this is just an attachment of the waker only.
That's what the waker thinks. Does the dreamer think so? While you're in this state, everything revolves around this. When you're in the dream state, everything revolves around that. You're saying that is unnecessary. The dreamer will tell you this is unnecessary. What is the stupid waking dream state you're talking about? It's totally unnecessary. Well, let us live our lives in peace. What dream, wake, stupid nonsense. Let us do whatever we are doing in the dream. That is his version of it. Just as it is a waker's version of it, that the other two are stupid. Waste of time. Why is it there? Every state, no, even the deep sleeper, if you could speak to him, will probably say, what? Something, there's nothing. Something you want. So what you're saying is the stance of the waker, which is what he is saying. This is the stance of the waker. Don't blame me, Elsie. I'm only telling you what the book is saying. Okay. This you feel when you are there. So the dreamer and deep sleeper experience their respective states and reject the other two. That's what you do, right? In a dream, you reject this. Matter of fact. Yes, Mahesh.
Sorry to keep pestering you, but so
Mahesh,
this,
20 years. 20 years. You did not do say sorry now.
yeah.
Hmm.
So in the waking state, how does the waking state disappear? In the sense that on self-realization, does the whole, like the dream, the whole waking world disappears, and it is due to whose self-realization? Since I am on par with all the others, we have some dream going on. So could it be that I see the Praj, he gets self-realized, and then the world? I mean, where's the analogy from the waking to the Turiya?
That would have been good. Now we can all work so that Deepraj realizes, and the moment he realizes, we are all out of this thing. That's a good labor saving device you have created, Mahesh. That would be very nice if we could. All of us should work towards a single person realizing. And once that person realizes, the whole world is taken care of. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Each person has his own dream that he has to get up from. So you can't do that. You can't say who is going to wake up. Just like you can't say between dream and wake up. Because as far as you're concerned, there is no reality to the dreamer. The dreamer doesn't exist. So where's the question of him waking? So from the state of self-realization, there is no waker. So where is the question of the waker getting up? From the state of self-realization, there is also no world. So where is the question of the world going away? Something which is there can go, but they have not accepted that the world exists, just like you as the waker are not accepting that the dream world exists. You remember Atma Shatkam? Na mukti, the bandhu. There's no bandhan, so there is no mukti. Only once you accept there is bandhan, then you can accept there is mukti. In other words, there are no pairs or opposites in that ultimate state. There is no past where the world was and no future where it will not be.
What about the analogy of the dream disappearing? Where does that fit in?
Same thing. Just as the dream disappears, leaving no trace behind, so too the waking world disappears. Just as the dream never happened. If you believe, Mahesh, that you got the Nobel Prize for peace in the dream, when you wake up and I tell you, Mahesh, where's the party for that Nobel Prize? What will you say? Will you give us a party because in the dream last night you got a dream? Say what nonsense, I never got it.
Yeah, but it disappeared, right? That Nobel Prize. So
Not that it disappeared, it is that it never happened. You didn't get a Nobel Prize and it disappeared. It never happened. You're not crying. If you believe that Nobel Prize you have got, you'll be crying now. Where is my Nobel Prize? It disappeared. You're not crying. You're saying it never happened.
I
Yes.
can say it happened in the dream world. I can say that.
So what does that sentence mean? That it didn't happen?
It
I
happened,
don't
but
get
in the
it.
relative reality. In the relative reality, it happened.
Yes, but you no longer experience that as real, no? The relative reality of the dream means only the dreamer thinks it happened. Nobody else thinks it happened. You think Deepraj is congratulating you last night in the dream you got Nobel Prize? Then both of you all need treatment. He congratulates you. It never happened. You didn't lose something you got. You never got it. If I ask you, Mahesh, did you receive a Nobel Prize? And you tell me in the dream I got it. What will we all understand?
Like, okay, yeah, okay. It's yeah, bit subtle here. I mean, maybe I'm not getting it, but the subtlety which is yet not so clear to me. But I'll take it offline. Thank you.
Wait, oh no. Okay.
No, not in the near future. Maybe the distant future.
Okay. Yes, Sheetal.
Yes, Shanti, sorry.
I can't hear you very well, Sheetal. It's very soft.
Shanti, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's very soft, but yes.
Okay. So, not related to so much that we suddenly, but when we are in the dreaming state, and sometimes, we are finding the solution of a problem, and suddenly in the dreaming state, we get that peace. So, in the waking state, when we are conscious, we don't get that answer. So, how real is that? Because we are in the dreamer state. So is it that
If
in the
you're if you get a solution in the dream state that works in the dream but not in the waking state, then you know how real it is. Don't you do that at night sometimes before sleeping? You're thinking of some problem and you think you have this fantastic solution, and then somehow you get a place to scribble something. In the morning, you say, what nonsense! Why did I think this solution would work? I've written garbled nonsense over here. But at that time, it seemed like a real solution. Okay, so that happens. That's one option. Other option is sometimes a real solution does come. But when you say a real solution comes, that means what? That it works in this state, right? Because it worked in that state doesn't make it a real solution. So how is it? That is a different law. What happens, and that's what it's meant for, that when you fall off to sleep, the desire pushing you to get a solution has been submerged. If you've already done all the work necessary for the solution, because the desire is now submerged, the solution is there. The only reason you did not get it earlier is because I wanted. So when the piece of the dream submerges the desire, the solution which you had already got still becomes available to you.
So does it mean that because we go to with desires, less, and the mind is sharpened or our intellect is sharpened, and so that we get that?
No, not because your intellect is sharp, but because you've already done the work. Your desire was only interrupting its manifestation. The work was done already. The work you can only do here in the waking state.
Thank you.
The Momita, yes, it was very soft. Basically, what she was talking about was, if y'all are talking about the non-reality of the dream so much, then how come I get solutions when I'm sleeping? Right, Sheetal, no? So there were 2 points in that. So first point was that all your solutions you get in the dream are not correct. 99% of them sound damn good in the dream. And then when you wake up in the morning, like, what was I so impressed with that solution for? However, there are rare cases when that solution is really very good. Now, this happens when you have done enough work in the past, but you've been longing for that solution so much that your work is not bearing fruit. So when the mind calms down, that longing comes down, the answer comes to you. It's not like your intellect has got sharper or anything's happened. It's just that because of the subsiding of the agitation, the answer which you already had comes to the surface.
But this seems to show that the waking and the dream state have some sort of connection.
No, it's not a connection. It's just that when you calm down, it's nothing to do with the dream. It's just that whenever you are forgot that desire, that thing will come. It may happen, because you were cooking or gone for a walk or gone to the gym, or whenever your mind is calmed down, you're not like, oh, we don't realize how much our desires prevent us from achieving what we want. Because we do all the work, but we still don't have the solution because we are longing for it so much. So that's why some people say, oh, I get my best ideas in the shower, or I get my best ideas when I'm out for a walk, or whatever. What they don't get is the mechanism that's going on.
But still, the waker and the dreamer are not mutually exclusive, then there is something.
No, of course not, because the base of all three is vasanas.
In that sense.
Has to have. The root is the same. I say I get it, then I'm back to the same question. What do you mean by that?
Just to Mahesh's question, it's like the dreamer waker. It was just funny. I relatively get it.
Actually, the thing is, we overthink it. You just have to look at it from a layman's perspective and say, what is the layman saying? What would you have said before you heard all this stuff? Then we start overthinking it so much that we forget what we knew before. Like, first I was very clear that there is a dream, it was useless. Now, when I come to Vedanta, suddenly this becomes important. I'm not sure is this real or that real. Too much confusion. So just look at it as a layman, and then it'll all become self-evident. Shall we attempt to start the next one? Now, we have to understand how the person of realization behaves. How does he walk? How does he talk? What's he like? Because that's where we are trying to reach. First thing is, which the first portion told you, is you're not going to understand it, as it is not understood anything so far. Nobody can. It's not you like, oh, y'all are so dumb and you don't understand. The speaker also doesn't understand. Nobody understands. It's okay. There's no human being who will understand any of it. But we have to make our way gradually through this process in the hope that we don't misunderstand something. That's all we are doing. So now we are going to study what is he like. What is he like within himself? What is he in his relationship with the world? So his intrinsic being talks about what is he like in himself. So who will read it? First para. I guess you can read first para and second para because first paragraph is nothing. Only 1 minute, so you have to hurry up. Momita, will you read it?
Yes, a self-realized person has merged with the supreme reality. He manifests divine characteristics, displays exceptional power, bears universal love, possesses boundless knowledge, enjoys absolute self-sufficiency, revels in total fulfillment. So a self-realized person is, since he has merged with what is real, he manifests all these characteristics that are beyond the human experience: exceptional power, universal love, boundless knowledge, self-sufficient, absolute self-sufficiency, and total fulfillment.
Very good. So this is the characteristic of the self-realized person. Extremely powerful. So what does he mean? Suppose he meets Muhammad Ali. Will he punch him? Is that what it means? He's so powerful that Muhammad Ali can punch him, but make no difference to him. That's not what it means. He bears universal love. He possesses boundless knowledge. Means is he Google? What do you mean he possesses boundless knowledge? Does he know everything like Google knows it? He enjoys absolute self-sufficiency. Is that even possible? What does that mean? Does he make his own food? What does it mean? Does he not require help in life? He has to grow his own food. He has to cook his own food. He has to manage waste management. Everything he's doing himself. What does that mean? And what does it mean that he's in total fulfillment? So we will do all this next time. Tomorrow, we will not have Sunday class because, as you know, we are all going for the Bhumi Pujan. And I hope we can have some live thing going on there. I don't know, Mahesh, can you handle anything live? Mahesh, Bharat, if we can put it on Facebook or Insta or something so that